Lounge, where we talk about issues that we as migrant people of color are facing here in Australia. And also we interact with the industry in Australia, and the idea basically is to help bridge the existing non-representation gaps between them. And today we are going to be talking accent. And my guest for today is Arun. Now Arun is an Indian man, right? And he wasn't born in India, he was born in Singapore. But being an Indian, English is definitely not his first language. And this makes him a perfect guest for me for today. Welcome to the talk show.
Thank you, Jess. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Now talk to me. Let's talk about accent.
Yes,
right?
accents. Yes, it's brilliant talking about accents. As you can tell, I don't have an Indian accent. It's not an obvious Indian accent. I've been in Australia 15 years, but also in Singapore. You are right that English is not my mother tongue, or not what comes naturally to me and my family. We speak Tamil, and that is a South Indian language, and there is an accent to it as well. But an accent in English is also different in Singapore, as in Australia, just like would be for you as well. Jess, and it depends on your community that you're from, right? So my accent is amalgamated. I hear that some people say, "Oh, do you have an American twang, or you have a not really an Australian twang?" But it depends who I'm speaking with, right? So if I'm speaking with my Singaporean family, it'll be completely different. I'll speak really quickly, and you won't be able to hear what I'm saying, potentially like this.
And it's English,
It's English, so you'll hear the las and the ayah, and there'll be different terminologies and colloquialisms.
Right.
So it's very different to how I would speak to you, or in a professional setting, or if I'm teaching, because I do a bit of lecturing, and part of my lecture work is in communication and communication with cultures. So a lot of it is to do with accents and culture and how that actually informs a person and what they actually do. So when we talk about culture, that also influences your accent. And so for me, that is a big part of code switching and accents as a result of it. Which when we are in the media industry, it's all about that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you look at the news on Channel 7, every newsreader has the same accent, right? and they actually train you to do that. So in journalism, when you do learn journalism, they teach you a neutral accent.
It's true, because sometimes you can't even differentiate between who's talking.
No.
Sometimes I'm listening to, say, Channel 10, I'm going, okay, I'm on radio in my car, I'm listening to a particular voice, and I'm thinking, is that Norel that Jacob? But listen to Channel 7, is that X, Y, Z? It's always like that.
Exactly.
Accent is a tricky thing, and the reason I thought this topic is a crucial one for us, for me, on this talk show, and this my talk show is because it's one of the most difficult things that I faced when I first came to Australia.
Yes.
Coming all the way from Nigeria, and I got my really thick Nigerian accent, and being married to an Australian, and being thrown into the home of English people, people who just speak English right from the womb, you know what I mean?
Yes. The native speakers.
I know, it was tricky for me.
Yes.
I remember just sometimes hiding in my bedroom, my husband would come and say, "Oh, Mom wants you in the kitchen," and to come and talk, with her, and I'll be like, oh gosh, every time she sends for me, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go embarrass myself. And I'll come out, and there was one day she was cooking something. And I made a comment about something to do with butter, right? And so I pronounced it as butter. And that's how we call it in Nigeria. I said, Mom, do you want me to bring the butter? She said, pardon? I said, okay.
Take two.
Do you want me to bring the butter? Pardon? Butter. Pardon? Oh my gosh, Arun, that was the most embarrassing day of my life. And I just went to my room. I said, I'm never going to talk to. And Matt came in and said, Mom, she meant butter. But I'm like, I'm not an Australian. I'm a Nigerian. And this just kept happening. And it's a big barrier. I see it on people, people like myself out there. we come in, we got things to say,
Yeah.
and we get pushed back by that, fear of what if I don't say it right?
Yep.
I could not even open bank account for myself.
Ah, wow. Okay.
My husband had to be the one to speak to the people on the phone, and I said, listen to them, like, what are they saying?
Of course.
And he will say, you know what, I think you speak too fast. And I'm like, no, I think you guys are the ones speaking too fast. So
yes.
I want you to also share with us, because that's just my experience, but I want to hear your experience.
Well,
when have you ever, felt embarrassed or felt a barrier with your accent?
Oh, it's funny because we study, Cambridge level English in Singapore. So we've got A levels and O level English. So I have a pretty decent vocabulary.
Right.
But that accent does not make a difference. So
That's right.
even if I know how to pronounce a really big word, it doesn't make a difference because I might say it slightly differently. So in Australia, it's quite hilarious because when I came here to study, right? So in 2007, and we study media. So you're surrounded by international students, domestic students, a whole bunch of different students with different experiences, different influences. So a lot of the time they say things slightly differently, and every international student would look at me and ask me to help translate for them with the Australian English.
Right.
I'm like, well, dude, I'm in the same kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's
we're all on this going together.
Yeah, but
right?
because Singaporean, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, in their eyes, because they're from Indonesia, and Malaysia potentially. I mean, English is good as well, but they're not as confident potentially.
Yeah.
And because we study English at that level, and I had a more neutral accent because of my upbringing. They came to me because they were like, oh, he sounds semi-Australian, and it seems like he understands what the Australians are saying. And the lecturers, to be fair, they tried their best, but it's really difficult for them as well because they only know one way of saying things, right? So on their side of the coin, you're thinking, will they make the effort to slow down and give you the time to understand what they're saying, and vice versa? Would you take the time to actually learn what these guys are actually saying? Like butter.
Yeah.
Like it's about patience, right? Because how difficult is it to say certain Irish names?
But
you know what I mean? Like
do you
the
think the Australians speak fast or slow?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Me.
If you're looking at the hard ochre, up north, mining sort of people, they speak different, slow, but they swallow the O's and the W's.
Yeah,
it's very Scottish, it's very earthy. They don't care, how you going, all that stuff, and they merge 2 or 3 words together, and it's like, are you going?
Yeah.
And you're like, how are you going? Where are we going? How are you doing? What are you actually saying? You know what I mean? And you have to translate that in your head.
Yeah.
So it's very, and my wife, so she's Singaporean.
Yeah.
But she is also Indian, but she spoke Mandarin growing up. So her accent is more Chinese English accent. So whenever she's on the phone, no one believes that it's her when they see her in person because she looks Indian. But on the phone, her accent will be Chinese English Singaporean. So it's very, and it's also because she grew up in a education system where she was in a Catholic school. So it was taught by nuns, that sort of thing. So it's very English proper, but also spoke Mandarin very fluently.
Yeah.
So it's always, and her name is Joanne.
Yeah.
So when they speak to Joanne on the phone and they come and see an Indian lady, when they come and meet her, they'll be like, sorry, I wanted to speak to Joanne.
Yeah. I'm Joanne.
Yeah, and she speaks, and then when she speaks Mandarin, it blows their mind again.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that accent is completely different as well. But when they try and put a face to it, and same for me. Like I went to Channel 7 to do a bit of a journalism, internship.
Yeah.
When I was studying journalism, and it was a completely I don't want to work here kind of feeling, just because of the way people expected everything to be.
Yeah.
It was very wide.
Yeah.
I mean, Channel 7, right?
Of course.
It's the most watched news.
Yeah.
And everything was a caricature of itself, so the accents had to be a certain way.
Did you know I studied journalism?
I know you did, yeah.
And the fear of accent was why I haven't even pursued to get a job in journalism as a presenter or something. And I remember when I was doing my course, we had to come out to sort of like present, pretend like you're reporting something. And and the teacher, the tutor has to go around everyone in the room, and I remember every time it's coming to my turn, I'm just freaking out, and I know how to talk. I want to talk, right? I want to be there.
In your head, it's perfect.
Like what I'm doing right now.
Yes.
And then you feel, you got all these sitting around me, and they're just gonna think this African Dharma just because I can't pronounce properly. So that was a big. Do you understand?
Oh, 100%.
And there was a course I did where part of the requirement was you have to say something during a tutorial, like a discussion.
Yes.
You have to engage.
Yes.
You have to get up and you discuss something about the topic that is being discussed, and that is like a 30% of our grade for the year, for the semester. And I remember always just like every time it's the day for the tutorial, my heart was just start going to like, oh my God.
The anxiety.
I'm about to embarrass myself again because I'm the only black.
And do you prepare more because of it?
I prepare. I know what
a
I'm
lot
gonna
more
say.
Because you're worried?
It's just when I say it, it just sounds like I'm done, but I'm not. It's just I'm not saying it properly, like saying butter, and then you're going. So anyway.
Oh.
It's a big. I know that a lot of people are going through this barrier. I know that because I have experienced it, and that is why I'm discussing it today, so that they can know that they're not alone.
Of course.
I've experienced it. You've experienced it. Tell me when you've ever been embarrassed at all. I want you to actually think of one moment that you've ever felt. That you ever struggled.
I think it was probably with my colleagues. Because they're all Australian, right? And they're all female as well. So they all, they're very vocal. So, I am the comms person in the team. So I'm expected to know everything, right, about communications and stuff. So I think I said a word, I can't remember exactly what word, but I said it slightly differently to them, which is the accent.
Yeah.
Or the way we are used to saying it.
Yeah.
I think.
Like butter?
Yeah, like butter. But when I said it, and they all pretended that they didn't understand it because it was hilarious to them. But I was like, it's not that funny. And they can't spell to save their lives.
Yeah.
They would always ask me how to spell words.
Right.
But that, it'll be like, so it's almost like I'm embarrassed, very embarrassed. It's a work situation, professional environment.
Yeah.
And I'm technically their team leader. So it's even more embarrassing because you're supposed to be leading them.
Yeah, that's right.
And I didn't know how to roll it back, but they all made fun of it for a while.
Yeah.
But then
did you go home to think about that?
I mean, I'm still thinking about it now. But no, it wasn't that bad because we're quite funny people.
Yeah.
So I think we use humor to mask it a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what accents are used for, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Especially in a Western context.
Yeah.
Like Apu from Simpsons. They use it as a stereotype.
Yeah.
Right? But that's when they push it too far sometimes. When they get a person to do a voice and they do a caricature of a person and then it gets a bit too far. That's when it becomes like, okay, I see it. Or if they use that to maybe put you down.
Yeah, they do though.
They do.
They do.
I've got many Vietnamese friends who are very skilled camera people because I'm also in the media industry and they don't get a second chance a lot of the time because they can't speak English proficiently or as an Australian, but they're so creative.
Yes,
they're so good, Jess.
It just doesn't define.
They can light a room.
Accent doesn't define.
And unfortunately, it does sometimes.
Nobody wanted to be my friend at uni.
Of course.
And it was to do with my
international
accent.
student, right?
I know there was the color of the skin, but the accent was a big thing.
Yeah.
Once it's like it just makes you isolated. Like they just look at you like you don't belong, really. I already know that I don't belong. Then the accent just added to the not belonging. Sort of feeling.
But they spend a lot of money now trying to help international students fit in.
That's right.
Because of the pandemic, Because how much money do we pay for fees?
Yeah.
So it's finally, they finally decided, we need to look after these people.
Wow. Yeah.
They spend all the money here, right?
That's good.
It's working to some extent.
Advantage. Can we talk about like how we manage to overcome those struggles with accent? Obviously, you probably learned to improve in some way, or can you share some of the things that you've used to help yourself?
I think it's really important to watch Australian media.
Australian media?
Because accents are not hard to learn.
Okay.
and
You
to be
think?
understood. I think well, the Australian accent, you know, because it's English, right? And
Yeah.
to be honest, English is not that hard a language.
Yeah.
If you
and if you
compare
already
it,
know how to speak it for a start,
yeah,
it's not a matter of how can I now talk properly. Like me, I wasn't actually thinking of speaking, you know, the Australian accent. I wasn't.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't after that. I was just after being able to talk. How do I put it? Clearer.
yes,
Such that my audience can hear me.
Yes.
Somebody that I'm speaking to can just understand
yeah,
what I'm saying.
okay,
Like I said, the
Slowing
butter
down.
thing, butter,
Yeah.
obviously they didn't understand it because
Yeah.
I'm just saying butter.
yeah.
And she wasn't mocking at me, it was
No.
just, I can't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's that mimicry, right?
Yeah.
We sort of learn by, okay, so how do they say it?
Yeah.
And then watching media helps.
Yeah.
But again, if you watch ABC, it's a different accent again. If you watch
Yeah,
you know, a
that's
show in Queensland, it's different again.
Yeah, but would you say trying to learn how they speak DS so that you can pick up DS, is that beneficial? Is that advisable?
If you want to work in an industry where you need to speak to people, you know, if you're working on a computer, nobody cares, right? You know, if you're coding content,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter as much. But if you're going to have to converse with
Yeah.
Australian or, you know, English people
Yeah.
or in an English language in a professional setting, then yes, it will
That is
definitely help.
necessary. Yeah.
Definitely help.
And like networking as well, you know,
Exactly.
sometimes you only have like 5 minutes
Yep.
to just introduce yourself to
Yes.
someone, and accent could be taking you.
It's about getting yourself out of that zone as well, you know, because you know how we were talking about being anxious. It's getting yourself out of the comfort zone and going to Toastmaster events.
Yeah.
Getting up and saying, I'm gonna speak today.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's gonna embarrass me. I'm gonna say as many butters as I want to say.
It's shit.
It's shit. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then just having that confidence, because I think a
Confidence.
lot of the time it is that confidence,
It is the
right?
confidence, yeah.
You see the
I
local
agree.
domestic students, they are so confident. They don't know a thing,
Yeah.
but they say it very proudly and loudly, and suddenly you think, what are you talking about, mate?
Confidence is just on the
But
next
the-
level. with
But they
every
go
business.
when they
Yeah.
talk about it, and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't think that's quite right,
Yeah.
but you seem very confident,
Yeah.
so let me check my notes.
And sometimes they'll start convincing you.
They
to
convince
believe
you that
it.
you're wrong. Like, I grew up in that country.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it works. But
Yeah.
yes, confidence, 100%.
Confidence.
Yeah, so I would,
learning, confidence.
yeah, and then just making a fool out of yourself.
Yeah.
To get out there.
Knock it off.
Knock
like
it off.
Stay out of the shell. Yeah.
That's it.
Laugh at yourself.
Laugh at yourself.
Take it and
Yeah.
mimic them. And mimic. So I watch Australian shows.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
As I said, you know, I'm in a world where you know, pitching is very necessary. You write your story, you got to pitch it. You got to pitch it to producers, you got to pitch it to people that you meet. So I have to know how to talk so that
Yeah.
my people that I'm pitching to can you know, understand what I'm saying. So what I do, I watch a lot of Australian shows, and I listen to how they're talking.
Yep.
I don't want to pick their accent.
No.
I just want to be able to talk
Exactly.
clear enough.
Yeah.
So watching
And even
shows
understanding them as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so also to be understanding even the news readers,
That's
you know,
right.
because I'm in journalism and I watch news and
Yeah.
you know, radio, listen. You want to know all of those things.
Yeah. There's an argument that it's more very American now as well. So even the Australian accent
Yeah.
is becoming more American.
Really?
Yeah, there's a huge influence of American words and terms that are coming through the Australian sort of vernacular.
So look at that.
And that's why when you watch like, you know, Friends, you know, those American sitcoms that are, you know, we are copying in Australia.
Yeah, Australia, yeah.
What do we watch on Channel 10? Most
Yeah.
of the shows are from America
Yeah,
or from the
that's
UK.
Yeah.
So that accent is getting muddled again.
Yeah.
So, you know, watch
You're
these
right.
things. Watch
Yeah.
a UK show. And then when you watch a New Zealand show, you forget about it. That's even another level of accents that you can't even understand. And my wife struggles with accents. But yeah, I listen very carefully. So I think you just develop that skill of listening
Yeah.
and trying to make a difference or form a difference. But oh, that's a Kiwi accent. Oh, that's
Yeah.
American accent.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to
I
understand
never used
better.
to be able to differentiate them
Mm.
though, but now I do.
Yeah.
I do, and it took me
It's a
time.
skill, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just try and learn.
Yeah,
watch. Yeah,
that's right.
It's amazing.
Well, yeah, thank you, Arun. You guys have heard it. If you having any difficulty with accent, look, you're not alone. Okay, once upon a time we came into Australia and we were the same. You know, I had my thick Nigerian accent, he had his own Indian accent, but we're still here, we're talking. Don't let that put you down. Just go out, make a fool out of yourself, laugh over it. Don't let anybody put you down because of your accent. You're smart, you're intelligent, and be bold about it. Now, before we go, Arun, I'm sure you did not see this coming. We're going to play a game.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Okay.
Yeah. Are you ready?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. You should.
Let's see.
Okay, so what we're going to do is very simple, this game. I want you to say something, make a statement using your Indian native accent,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
And I'm gonna repeat that,
Right.
right? I'll mimic that. And if I get it correct, you're going to finish this glass of water that I'm drinking, right?
Okay, this is a good
And
one.
if I don't, I'm gonna finish the glass of water.
Right.
And then versa, I'm going to also speak my own Nigerian native
yes.
English.
Yes.
And then you're gonna do the same.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Are you ready?
Let's try.
In 1, 2, action, go!
Just any phrase you want me to say.
Any phrase, say
Okay.
it. I'm gonna speak it in the way you're gonna say it.
All right. பிறந்த நாள்
Oh,
வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
okay. Is that all?
That's. I'm just doing simple 2-word.
Okay.
It
That's
means.
it.
Do you want to know
Say
what it
it.
means?
Say it again.
பிறந்த நாள்
பிறந்த நாள்
வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
Yeah.
I said it!
It's close. It's close.
You're gonna do what
I'll give you that. Do you want to know what it means though?
Okay, tell me.
It means birthday wishes. Happy birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not my birthday. Well, thank you.
Am I supposed to finish? Am I supposed to scull it?
You're supposed to finish
Oh, Jesus.
it. I was actually going to come with wine, but I thought Arun would be driving. So,
I don't drink either, so you know.
I'm boring. Come on. Anyway, okay. So can you speak English as well, the way you guys say it?
What do you mean?
Like make a statement, like the way Indians speak. You go your
Oh, like
Indian
an accent?
Yeah.
It depends. So in Singapore, if he said something, give me a word.
Indian.
Yeah, but Singapore and Indian maybe.
Yeah.
Or because there's a difference as well in Singapore and Indian when we speak English in
Yeah,
Singapore.
speak it. Speak something. Tell me that.
But in English, right? So
Yeah.
if I was to say, give me a word, give me a phrase.
Okay, so it was very lovely to meet you, Jess. And thank you for inviting me.
It was really lovely to meet you. Thank you for inviting me today.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's the Singaporean one. If you want to do an Indian, I'll be doing a caricature. So
Do it,
am I going to be insulting the poor Indians?
Do it.
You can do. You see it.
Do it.
It was very nice to meet you today, and thank you for letting me come today. Thank
That's
you.
the one I like.
Yeah, that's
You
the
want me to say that?
very caricature. Yeah,
It was
you can
very
go.
nice to meet you today, and thank you for inviting me today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna speak Nigerian.
Nigerian, all right.
Okay. Arun, my papa and my mama, they did Nigeria.
My papa and my mama, today Nigeria.
Oh!
Is that right?
Yes, that was very easy though.
Yeah, I know.
Saying my mom
From-
and dad in Nigeria.
in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I'm trying to speak Pidgin. Pidgin is very
Pidgin, right,
yeah,
like
we got
Creole.
native language,
Yeah, yeah.
and then we got Pidgin before the even English.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Pidgin, you said, and they go and I don't want to make her hear you again, like
Yes, yes.
I don't want to make her hear you again. It's like it's got English in it.
Yeah.
It's just twisted.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in a very weird
That's very
way.
cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's
exciting,
fabulous.
Exciting. I really enjoyed our chat with you.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arun. And thank you guys for watching. This has been a very exciting topic, and I'm glad that our guest was able to give us all the jiggly and the bubblies. Anyway, you stay cool, stay calm, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.